How's it going, Jack Tackers, and welcome back to another video for you guys. Today I am going to be doing my review for AMC's Preacher Season 2, Episode 12, the penultimate episode of the season. Now, I wrote some notes down on my phone. I'm going to go over them, and then I'm going to give my thoughts on the episode. That'll be our usual thing for me reviewing anything. Write notes, go over them, and just so people know what I'm gonna do, and give my thoughts on the episode. So let's get into this. Eugene lives his hell again in like different scenarios with the mascot dude, and then his dad comes in, and then Hitler's just watching there in the background. Yeah, I'm not sure what they were really doing. They were just trying to do the right thing to escape the hell. I don't know. It was interesting with what they were trying to do. But eventually Hitler and Eugene, later in the episode, they're in the vents, as we saw in the promo, crawling over everyone's hell. So they're escaping, and I'm sure they'll escape by the finale. So that's a prediction right there. And then we actually have a couple flashbacks with the Saint of Killers and his wife and daughter, about how the wife's basically telling him his soul is like the best part of him, blah blah blah, stuff like that. And he's getting baptized. A preacher's baptizing Saint of Killers, and he says, "Get on your knees," which is another callback to the episode title, "On Your Knees," which I originally thought they were going to call it "On Your Knees" because they might explore Jesse's origin story, kind of. I call it Jesse's origin story, about how he has to get on his knees during the doc. Watch my predictions video for last week's episode. Yeah, but I was wrong. Okay, so then Hoover and the Men in White eventually get Saint of Killer out of the lake. So that's cool. And then basically the first half of the episode or so, it just shows the events of of what happens at the end of the last episode with Hoover running out of the truck, and what happens with that. So that's interesting. Interesting way they did that. Then Dennis looking to find the dog in Cassidy's room so he can eat it. Yeah, Cassidy just has him stored away in a little cupboard thing, which that's not animal safety, By the way, I'm sorry if I'm screwing this review up, because I'm very sick, and I don't really know what I'm saying, and I'm trying to do my best here. But yeah, so if I'm not making sense, comment down below and I'll comment back. If you're unsure about what I'm saying, I'll reply back if you're confused with what I'm saying, because right now it feels like I'm in a dream. I don't even know what's going on. Okay, sorry. If you've ever been really sick, you know what I feel like. Jesse comes back, meets up with Tulip and Cassidy again in the apartment. He wasn't gone for that long, literally left last episode, and then comes back this episode. So, okay. And then Tulip, this episode was Tulips Nightmare. This is what she was afraid of happening this whole, second half of this season. Tulip and the Saint of Killers meet. They have a very interesting, very exciting confrontation fight scene in the apartment. And Genesis doesn't work again, with Jesse, and Jesse tries to Genesis the Saint of Killers. Though, did it work before? But it made the noise again. See, when he tried to Genesis and use Genesis on the Saint of Killers before, it didn't make that weird clinging noise or whatever it is. So, what's that about? I did a theory video, it's in the channel, on could Jesse lose Genesis? And I don't read the comics, so, like, if something happens, like, or if it doesn't happen, I'm sorry. They can change the show, although I heard they're actually sticking close to the comics from what comic readers have been telling me in videos I've been watching on YouTube. That the people who read the comics, like, Season 2's actually been pretty close to the comics so far, especially the second half, supposedly. So, I mean, but they could still switch it, you know? They can still switch. Because I heard the first season was, like, not following it at all, and then they wanted to change it up a bit. So maybe that's what they'll do. Maybe they'll do a season where it's really close to the comics, and then a season where it's not close to the comics, or they'll just mix some comic scenes in. That's what they could do, maybe. And then the girl from, or the demon woman, I don't know her name, I forget, from hell, she, whatever it is, could be a boy or a girl or a demon, she calls the Saint of Killers William, so we find out his real name, which is interesting. And then, you know, William, just because Saint of Killers is longer to say, William kind of refuses. He's like, because the girl is like, you need to come back to hell because someone needs to fill your cell. And when William refuses, she threatens to put his daughter or wife in there, in his cell. And then he's like, you can't do that. And she's like, oh, I can. And then Jesse almost getting scalped, which remind me a lot of Fear the Walking Dead. And if you watch Fear the Walking Dead, this first half with Season 3, Episode 7, I think it was, with Walker and the Native Americans, reminded me of that a lot. And then Tulip and Cassidy, probably the biggest part of the episode right here. Tulip and Cassidy meet Hairstar. Probably the biggest part of the episode right there. And Cassidy and Tulip seriously questioning why Jesse needs them. And when they were eating at that breakfast place, or could be just a diner, because it didn't look like they were eating breakfast. And then the Saint of Killers goes back to hell. And, yeah, so those are all my notes. Just kind of wrote down the most important stuff in my opinion. Thoughts on the episode? Thought it was really good. Like I said, highlight and the biggest part of the episode. Highlight probably being, I don't know, the fight scene in the apartment, and then with, you know, the Saint of Killers and everyone. And then the biggest part of the episode is probably Tulip and Cassidy meeting Hairstar, because it's a really big deal. It's a really big deal. Probably give this episode like a solid, yeah, I'll give it an 8 out of 10, because it is I don't know if it's quite a 9, maybe an 8.8 to be technical. I don't know, it's just okay. 8.8 out of 10, still a really good score. It's basically like an 88% out of 100. Is that how that works? Oh, okay. No, but, and this part. Yeah, forgot about that. Jesse basically becoming like the Messiah, and Hairstar bowing down to him. I forgot about that. I'm sorry, but that was a really cool scene. I'm so freaking excited to see what they do with the finale and going into Season 3. It should be really interesting, because this scene right here was, like, amazing, you know. Hairstar is such a powerful guy. He's kind of powerful, just bowing down to Jesse, and then Jesse putting his hand on his head. Like, that's pretty lit. That was really cool. So let me know what you guys thought down in the comments below this episode. I'll be doing predictions for the finale right after this. By the time you're watching this, might already be up. And subscribe if new, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Boop.